Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at some missing Pokemon. They are not yet released in Pokemon GO, but where we know the moveset already based on the code at least, which of course can always change before they get released. But today we're going to take a look at the top 10 Pokemon that are interesting for the Open Great League that have not been released yet. And there are going to be some interesting ones in there. A lot of them will very likely have form changes as well when they're gonna get released, and we can talk about this today as well. But of course, if you enjoy a video like this, especially during the interlude season, then feel free to subscribe to the channel and we can move on to the first Pokemon, which is of course Mimikyu. And only recently we found more information towards this Pokemon in the code that this Pokemon is going to get a special ability. As far as I saw, that there is that the first hit, which is very likely depending like most like a charge attack, is basically doing next to no damage, and you're going to have that Pokemon then in its other form where like the disguise is broken. So there's going to be some mechanic towards that Pokemon coming up already. Right now this Pokemon doesn't seem to be that great, but again, if it does actually get a special mechanic in the game, which it seems to be the case, this Pokemon is going to be very interesting. Like basically having another Protect Shield on this Pokemon could be very, very cool and could make a big difference towards on how strong this Pokemon actually going to be. And it would make sense with the current moveset for this Pokemon to have a special ability, which would then make it more playable for both Great League as well as Ultra League based on how you play it, and that would be amazing. Like there are not a lot of Pokemon that have like special abilities currently in the game. We have Morpeko, we're going to have the Aegislash, for example, but there are not a lot more different ones. But we're going to have here another one directly afterwards, which could have a special ability as well coming up, and very likely is going to have one when it comes up, which is going to be Minior. Minior is going to be interesting because Minior is going to have two different forms. It has the core form and it has the Meteor form. The Meteor form is insanely bulky, having amazing stats, having rollout, acrobatics, power gem. The moveset is I think the exact same on both forms. And then you have the core form, which has insane attack stats, but nothing really else going forward. And here's what I kind of think might happen, that we might see that basically in the main stage games, and if you, I think, get below 50% health with this Pokemon and changes its form, and it does be way more attack weighted and way more like very fast as well. So you basically have like this bulky Pokemon that then can set up, and then as soon as you drop below 50% HP, you can just sweep opponents. I'm very certain this is how this Pokemon worked. Basically, this could happen here in Pokemon GO as well. Could be that this Pokemon just be bulky, can farm up energy for the beginning, and as soon as this Pokemon is going to drop below 50% health, it changes its form, and you're going to have a way more attack-rated Pokemon that then can utilize the energy that you gain while you are still bulky. So basically, very similar to what the Aegislash has right now as well, but in a less predictable way, because it depends on how much damage the opponent does against you, which would be interesting. But as you can see here, in the Meteor form, it's going to have a lot of great play. In the core form, not so much. But if you have like energy in the core form, I think it would be an interesting shout as well. Sandaconda is going to be next. This Pokemon here is going to be interesting. It's not going to be the strongest, but it's a Pokemon that I kind of want to talk about. It's a pure ground type with Mud Slap. That's already making this Pokemon very solid. It has Earth Power as well, but it has Rep. And basically you have Mud Slap and Rep, which is kind of cool. It has some solid play against the current meta. That's kind of why I want to take a look at it, at least here. But yeah, there are other Pokemon that are actually a little bit stronger, but we're going to talk about why I don't have them included, why I have this Pokemon included instead. I just feel like this would be an interesting shout as well. It's a little bit stronger just as a Mudslap Rapper. Of course, we have other Mudslap Rapper as well in the Toedscool, which has a better type as well. But Sandaconda could be interesting, has alright stats, could even get some better coverage moves in the future. So, interesting Pokemon. Eiscue is definitely going to be a Pokemon that's going to have another form change as well. We're going to have here the Ice form and the No Ice form. This is going to be the Ice form, which is going to be quite bulky, which is really cool for an Ice-type Pokemon. It's going to have Powder Snow, Weather Ball, Ice, as well as Surf, which is a fantastic moveset for a Pokemon like this. And then you're going to have the Eiscue with without Ice basically as well, the No Ice Eiscue. And this Pokemon then is going to be very much attack weighted, very similar to what we have seen already before from the Minior. This Pokemon most likely would be like as soon as the opponent goes for a charge attack, it changes forms. But this is the thing as well. well. In the main CS games, they can change in between forms. Basically, a physical attack is destroying the disguise, or like in this case, the eyes of this penguin, and it makes it super fast. But as soon as it snows again, you're going to be able to restore the ice on its head, so like it kind of repeats each round there. So I'm curious on how this is going to go here. If this is going to be the same for this Eiscue, we can actually regain the head on this Pokemon as well. But I assume definitely this Pokemon is going to be released as like a form-changing Pokemon in the Go Battle League. And here, I would have put every fossil of this generation in. Here we have just Arctozolt, as well as another one later on as well, with Dracovish, which I kind of want to talk about a bit as well. But all of the fossils of this generation are actually really, really cool. They all have a lot of play. Here, Ice and Electric is basically perfect offensive typing. There's next to no Pokemon that can really resist that, other than like Magnezone. And this is just crazy. Like, this Pokemon is fantastic to run. It's going to be super difficult to counter offensively. But also all of the other fossils would be very solid. All 4 fossils that are available in this generation are really solid. I'm just curious on how they're going to add them to the game, because they're very specific on how you do them. Like, you need 2 different fossils in order to create one Pokemon. It depends on kind of how you put them together. So yeah, I'm curious on how this is going to be. Here, this is going to be Arctozolt, a very, very solid Pokemon. And Dracovish is going to be also a very solid Pokemon as well. This Pokemon going to be a Water and Dragon type. Doesn't actually have the craziest attacks, but it has a better bulk than Kingdra, and honestly has a very great win-loss ratio here as well. The thing is, this Pokemon has a signature move called Fisher's Rent, and this is one of the, if not the strongest move in the game ever created, kinda. And if this is gonna get added, it would be a water type move. It would most likely benefit this Pokemon significantly as well. But it has a fantastic stats, so kind of why I put it in here as well. But all of the other fossils of that generation are all very solid as well. So definitely going to be something that we have to look out for when they're gonna get released. Palafin is going to be next. Palafin is going to be a solid Pokemon that only got nerfed with Counter, and with it, it's not going to be broken anymore, but it's going to be very, very strong. As you can see here, Counter and Aqua Jet is just very good together, and then Ice Wind as a cover too is fantastic. This is going to be another form-changing one, very likely, because it has the Hero form, which you can only unlock if you swap out, and this will be kind of interesting mechanic, because Hero form is quite a bit stronger than this form here, so it might give you a big benefit and advantage for the Go Battle League if you can use it there, but it's going to be interesting. Palafin, I feel like they still have to figure out how to introduce it into the game. But it's a fantastic Pokemon to run. And again, it has 2 different forms as well. Scovillain might be a bit of a fun pick here of this meta, but like Scovillain is something that I kind of want to talk about, because Scovillain is going to be having very, very bad stats, but it's the only grass and fire type Pokemon, which is a fantastic type. But you have Leaf Edge on it, which is a fantastic fast move. And so while yes, it's not going to be the strongest, I can't still want to talk about it, because if this Pokemon gets like a cheap move, I think it's going to be a very cool sweeper. And it's just a cool design. It's a very cool typing. It just needs a cheap move, and that's kind of basically it. And that's kind of what I want to introduce it to you here as well. It's a fun Pokemon, but let's move on to the next one. Should be the second to last one. We have Pecharunt here. This is a mythical Pokemon. It's a very solid mythical Pokemon for the Great League, because look at this. It's actually really good overall stats, and the poison goes the same as Gengar, but this is a bulky Pokemon. It doesn't actually look too crazy here right now, don't get me wrong, but you actually have very... Oh, it's Scovillain actually in here in the middle. That's more say why it doesn't look like this. Let me fix it real quick. There we go. We're going to have now Pecharunt in the middle. This Pokemon looks actually really solid now. Like, this is definitely a Pokemon that's going to be interesting to be played. A very good CP just generally there, as well as, of course, I have the IVs with them. Like, it has a nice bulk. It's a bulky ghost and poison type, which you haven't seen yet. I don't think it's going to be like too broken or anything like this, but it's going to be a fun and mythical Pokemon to run for the Great League, and that's kind of all that this Pokemon is going to be. I do think it has some signature moves for sure as well, which maybe it's going to be added towards when this Pokemon ever going to get released as well. But this is the current moveset, and this is the thing as well. There's going to be the odd Pokemon, like there's some cool Paradox Pokemon that could work out as well for the Great League, but I can't really add it because we don't know the moveset yet. All of those Pokemon that are in today's video have the moveset already put into the code, which could, again, still change, which happens especially recently a lot of times as well before release, could still change there, but right now, this is going to be it, what we can talk about. And the final Pokemon is going to be Calyrex. This actually ended up in last second. I think it is a legendary Pokemon only, but I'm not too sure about it. But it has actually very good stats and also a very solid move pool here with Confusion, Energy Ball, and Psyshock. Yeah, Confusion, Psyshock is really, really solid. Energy Ball is nice coverage. It's a Grass and Psychic type. It's, I think, the combination of types with the most amount of weaknesses, so that's fantastic. But generally speaking, it's an interesting Pokemon here. And this is the final one for today. What Pokemon did I miss? What team or like what kind of video would you want to see next? Let me know down below. It would be very interesting for me. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like and to watch the videos that are currently on the screen. And I'll see you then. Bye bye.